There's a quiet truth about children who grow up unseen. They often become adults who can't quite believe they deserve to be noticed at all. They walk into rooms trying to take up less space, to not disturb, to not be a problem. They enter relationships wondering if they're too much, if their very presence is a burden. When they achieve something, they hesitate to celebrate. Part of them waits for it to be ignored, as if invisibility is the only state that feels safe. It's not because they lack value or ability, but because the foundation of their self-worth was built in silence. Psychologists have a name for this: the neglect schema. It's the pattern the brain learns when attention and care are missing. Over time, the mind wires itself to expect absence, to anticipate rejection, to see its own needs as inconvenient. A child ignored often enough eventually stops asking. They start to believe that wanting love or acknowledgement is selfish. Picture a child in a crowded room, quietly tugging a parent's sleeve, waiting for a glance, a word, a sign that they exist. Maybe you've seen it, the quiet one on the playground, in the classroom, at the dinner table. The child who doesn't shout, doesn't demand, just fades softly into the background. From the outside, it looks calm. Inside, something foundational is cracking. For a child, being ignored isn't just a small hurt. It's a wound to their very sense of existence. Neglect doesn't always look like abuse. It isn't always harsh words or raised voices. Sometimes it's absence, the empty chair at dinner, the unanswered question, the parent too exhausted to notice. It's the birthday forgotten not out of cruelty, but distraction. But the child doesn't feel the reason, only the silence. We like to think children are endlessly resilient, and yes, they adapt. But adaptation isn't healing. When a child learns that attention is unreliable, they learn to live without it. They shrink to fit the silence, teach themselves not to need, not to feel too much. And that adjustment, though it helps them survive, follows them into adulthood in ways they might never recognize. Acknowledgement in psychology is more than validation. It's survival. Decades of developmental research point to 3 core needs for every child: safety, stimulation, and connection. Safety keeps them alive. Stimulation helps them grow. But connection, being seen, heard, and valued, gives them identity. John Bowlby, the founder of attachment theory, explained that consistent, responsive caregiving forms the blueprint of trust. When that connection is absent, the blueprint changes. Instead of trust, it's replaced with quiet doubt. Maybe I'm not worth loving. Maybe my needs don't matter. This isn't poetic exaggeration, it's neuroscience. When a child's attempts to connect are repeatedly ignored, the brain reads it as danger. The stress system fires, cortisol floods their body. Over time, their nervous system adjusts to expect rejection. Anxiety becomes their baseline. Emotional balance becomes fragile, and from the outside, they just look like a quiet kid. Physical abuse leaves visible marks. Emotional neglect doesn't. Its wounds hide under calm surfaces. The ignored child may stop showing excitement, stop asking questions, stop hoping. They don't disappear from the room. They disappear from themselves. Psychologists call this emotional neglect. It doesn't bruise the skin, but it bruises the self. Those bruises don't surface fully until adulthood, when intimacy, ambition, or joy brush against the unhealed silence underneath. Adults who grew up ignored often describe feeling unseen, even when surrounded by people. They might have loving relationships and still feel hollow. They might achieve success and still feel unworthy. A 2019 study in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry found that childhood emotional neglect strongly predicts chronic loneliness later in life, even when the adult has social support. The emptiness lingers not because they lack people, but because they never learn to feel seen. And most parents who neglect emotionally aren't cruel. Many are overwhelmed by work, by stress, by their own wounds. A parent juggling 2 jobs, a parent battling depression, a parent lost in a distraction. Their absence may be unintentional, but the child feels it the same. Intention doesn't erase impact. That's why understanding emotional neglect matters, because awareness is how the cycle ends. Children adapt to neglect in clever ways that can look like strengths. Some become fiercely independent, taking care of themselves early. Some chase achievement, desperate to earn the attention they missed. Others become peacekeepers, trying to hold fragile connections together. But beneath those strengths lies exhaustion. The independent child grows into the adult who can't ask for help. The achiever becomes the perfectionist, never satisfied. The peacekeeper becomes the people pleaser, terrified of disappointing anyone. And the saddest adaptation, the one who gives up entirely, deciding, if no one cares, why should I? Ignored children rarely tell their stories. There's no clear moment of trauma to point to, no dramatic event, just a collection of small absences, the missed glances, the unanswered questions, the excitement that died in silence. So they grow up unsure whether their pain counts. In therapy, they'll say, "Nothing really bad happened to me." But neglect is defined not only by what happens, but by what doesn't. Living without emotional air still leaves you gasping. The long-term effects are real and measurable. The National Institute of Mental Health has linked childhood emotional neglect to higher risks of depression, anxiety, and difficulty forming secure attachments. The Harvard Center on the Developing Child notes that consistent acknowledgement in childhood strengthens the brain's resilience pathways. Neglect weakens them. Acknowledgement isn't luxury, it's neurological necessity. Still, not every ignored child is doomed. Many grow into compassionate, self-aware adults because they understand pain intimately. But their path is harder. They spend years unlearning what silence taught them. Healing begins with recognition, with saying, "What happened to me mattered." It begins when an adult acknowledges their childhood pain without minimizing it. Healing doesn't mean perfection. It means validation. It means small acts of self-recognition, pausing to celebrate a personal win, saying your feelings out loud, reminding yourself that your voice has worth. These tiny moments are the quiet beginnings of repair. Because the need to be seen doesn't fade with age. It only hides, waiting to be invited back. In friendships, this wound often shows as imbalance. The neglected child becomes the listener, the one who always understands others but never shares their own pain. They show up for everyone but themselves. To the world, they look kind and stable. Inside, they're wondering, why don't I matter like others do? In love, the patterns deepen. Some chase affection intensely, clinging to anyone who offers attention. Others pull away, afraid of being hurt again. Both are attempts to protect the same wound, the fear that love will vanish. And yet, here's the paradox. The ignored child often becomes one of the most empathetic adults you'll ever meet. They developed hyper-awareness as survival. They had to read faces, tones, moods to know when it was safe to speak. That skill turns into deep sensitivity, deep understanding. But it can also mean they sense others more than themselves. Another hidden cost of neglect is identity. When a child is never mirrored, when their feelings aren't reflected back, their sense of self stays blurred. As adults, they may seek constant validation, not from vanity, but from longing to finally see themselves clearly. Identity forms in connection. Without reflection, it falters. But here's what's extraordinary. Even after years of silence, the human spirit keeps reaching for light. The ignored child grows up still hoping to be seen. They search for healing through therapy, books, self-reflection. That search itself is proof of strength. Neuroscience gives reason for hope. The brain is plastic. It can change. Each time an adult who grew up ignored speaks and is heard, a new neural pathway forms. Each time a boundary is respected, the nervous system learns safety. Healing isn't a single event, it's repetition. Every healthy connection is a quiet rewiring. Healing doesn't need to look grand. Sometimes it's whispering, "My feelings matter." Sometimes it's telling a friend, "I need you to listen right now." Sometimes it's choosing not to shrink. These moments, though small, are revolutions. They undo years of silence, one word at a time. It's not easy. Adults raised in neglect fear rejection deeply. Asking for help feels dangerous. Setting a boundary feels like betrayal. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting despite it. Each act of courage is a stitch in the torn fabric of the self, and it's worth remembering. Most parents who ignored their children were once ignored themselves. Emotional neglect is often a generational echo, passed not through malice, but through unhealed wounds. When an adult begins to heal, they're not just changing their own story, they're breaking the chain. Every ignored child who learns to listen to themselves becomes a parent who listens better. Every person who learns to value their needs becomes someone who teaches others to do the same. Healing, like harm, ripples outward. And here lies a profound truth. The ignored child's story is not one of failure, but of endurance. They often believe they left no mark, but their resilience, their quiet determination to be seen, is itself a testament to strength. By speaking their truth, they give others permission to speak. By healing themselves, they make it safer for others to heal. So if you were that child, if you sat waiting for someone to notice, if you ever wondered whether your presence mattered, hear this now. It did. You do. Healing isn't erasing the past. It's reclaiming your voice within it. It's learning to see yourself not through the eyes of absence, but through compassion. Being ignored shaped you, yes, but it does not define you. The story of the ignored child is one of pain, but also of rebirth. It's the story of silence giving rise to empathy, invisibility turning into insight, loss transforming into wisdom. In the end, the child who was once unseen often becomes the adult who refuses to let others feel invisible. And in that choice, imperfect, brave, profoundly human, they discover the truth that was there all along. They were never truly invisible. They were just waiting to be seen.